The silence from the Indiana Farm Bureau Football Center is deceptive. Behind those closed doors, the Indianapolis Colts are orchestrating a complete overhaul of the offensive and defensive identities that defined last season. We are seeing a high-stakes chess match involving key personnel decisions that will dictate the competitive ceiling for the upcoming campaign. As someone who spends every day dissecting the locker room culture and the front office's long-term vision, I can tell you the stakes have never been higher. Before we peel back the curtain on these moves, if you want to keep getting exclusive insights like this, please hit that subscribe button.
The conversation surrounding Jonathan Taylor has reached a fever pitch. When you look at the production of a player who has proven capable of hitting that 16 touchdown mark, the decision-making process is never simple. We are talking about the engine of the Indianapolis Colts offense. My sources indicate that the front office is evaluating how to best utilize Jonathan Taylor in a scheme that is evolving to protect the quarterback while maintaining a lethal ground game. This isn't just about raw numbers, it is about the long-term sustainability of the roster. From a tactical standpoint, Jonathan Taylor remains the most critical variable in the red zone. If he is healthy and integrated correctly into the current play-calling tree, the entire complexion of the team changes. I have watched him in practice, and the burst he shows after contact is still elite. However, the front office is looking at the salary cap implications and how his specific skill set aligns with the desire for more explosive passing plays. There is a delicate balance here between leaning on a proven workhorse and diversifying the attack to keep defenses guessing. We are looking at a scenario where the Colts have to decide if they are building around his unique capacity to find the end zone or if they are shifting toward a committee approach to preserve his longevity. The emotional impact on the fan base is palpable because Jonathan Taylor is a symbol of the team's identity. Fans want to see him featured, yet the reality of modern NFL economics forces management to be cold and analytical. If the Colts move forward with an aggressive extension or a restructuring, it signals a commitment to the run-first philosophy that defines this franchise's historical success. Conversely, if they stall, it raises questions about the offensive identity for the next 3 years. We have to consider how this decision impacts the locker room culture as well. Players look at how the organization treats its star performers, and Jonathan Taylor represents the standard. If they get this wrong, it creates a ripple effect that could disrupt the chemistry we have been tracking throughout the winter. As we look at the offensive side of the ball, we also have to look at the massive void left on the defensive front. The movement doesn't stop with the playmakers, and the departure of a major pass rushing threat is already sending shockwaves through the organization. How does the loss of such a significant defensive anchor change the way the team prepares for the upcoming season?
If you want to keep getting exclusive insights like this, subscribe now to ensure you never miss an update on the latest roster moves and insider analysis from the heart of the Colts organization.
The loss of DeForest Buckner to an NFC South franchise is a move that echoes throughout the entire defensive scheme. We are talking about 35 sacks of production that just walked out the door, and the defensive coordinator is now tasked with replacing not just a stat line, but a presence that commanded double teams on almost every snap. When you analyze the tape of DeForest Buckner, you see a player who dictated the flow of the game by forcing interior pressure, which allowed the secondary to play more aggressively. His departure is a blow to the defensive philosophy that emphasizes stopping the run and winning at the point of attack. I have spoken with people inside the facility, and there is a sense of genuine transition. The decision to let a talent like DeForest Buckner move on is indicative of the team's shift toward younger, more cost-effective options on the defensive line. It is a gamble, plain and simple. The analytics suggest that interior pressure is the most valuable asset in the modern NFL, and by letting him go, the Colts are testing their ability to develop talent from within. The emotional weight of this news is heavy for the fans who watched him anchor the unit. You cannot simply plug and play a replacement for a player who has that level of pedigree. Tactically, this forces the team to rely more on stunts and blitz packages to manufacture the pressure that DeForest Buckner used to provide on his own. This shift changes the entire defensive look. We are looking at a team that may have to be more creative with their scheme, potentially putting more pressure on the linebackers to fill the gaps that were once handled by his dominant presence. The rivalry games in the AFC South will be the real test. Without that anchor, the defensive front has to prove that they can still hold the line against top-tier offensive lines. It is a high-stakes pivot for the front office and one that will be scrutinized every single Sunday. The departure leaves us wondering about the depth of the roster and whether the new arrivals can truly fill the shoes of such a legendary contributor. As we turn our attention to how the team is preparing for this specific vacancy, it is clear the front office saw the writing on the wall well in advance. The departure of Samson Ebukam to the Atlanta Falcons was not a surprise to those of us who have been monitoring the roster construction throughout the spring. While fans might be concerned about the turnover on the defensive edge, the Colts had clearly positioned themselves to absorb the loss of Samson Ebukam through a series of tactical signings made earlier in the week. The organization has been operating with a clear vision: bring in high-motor, versatile players who can rotate and keep the defensive front fresh. Samson Ebukam played his role well, but the current regime is looking for a specific type of pressure player that fits a more modern, hybrid defensive look. By securing these new assets, the Colts are essentially betting that they can replace his production by committee. This is a classic example of the team's focus on depth over star-heavy investments. When you look at the salary cap, moving on from a veteran like Samson Ebukam allows for the flexibility to retain younger talent at other positions, which is crucial for the long-term health of this roster. I have analyzed the profiles of the new arrivals, and they bring an explosiveness that might actually improve the team's ability to get to the quarterback in third down situations. The emotional narrative here is one of necessity and evolution. You cannot keep the same group together forever, and the ability to pivot is what separates the contenders from the teams stuck in neutral. The Colts are clearly trying to rebuild the pass rush by identifying undervalued assets and coaching them into a cohesive unit. This is the hallmark of a front office that understands the value of the draft and targeted free agency. The domino effect of losing Samson Ebukam, coupled with the previous personnel moves, suggests a team that is not interested in standing pat. They are aggressively reshaping the identity of the defense to be faster and more unpredictable. It is a bold strategy, but one that aligns with the changing landscape of the AFC South. We are watching a total recalibration of the team's defensive DNA. The question remains, can these new pieces gel quickly enough to make an impact in September? The front office is banking on the coaching staff's ability to maximize the potential of these new signings, and the pressure is now on them to deliver results immediately. The transition is complete, and now the focus shifts entirely to how these players integrate on the field.
The Colts have made their intentions clear. Through these moves, they are betting on long-term sustainability and tactical flexibility over maintaining the status quo. It is a period of significant change, and the success of these decisions will be measured by how quickly the new pieces integrate into the system. We have seen the departure of major contributors and the arrival of new hope, but the real test starts when the pads come on in the summer. What do you think about the direction the front office is taking? Are you confident in their ability to reload on the fly, or are you worried about the loss of veteran leadership? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going as we navigate this pivotal offseason together.